Are you struggling with feeling stuck in your life journey? Does it seem as if the challenges or conflicts that you keep experiencing are on repeat? Healing through feeling could be your new way through to a more satisfying life. Now, here is the host of the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show, licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide, Sharyn Nichols.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Feel to Heal show with myself, Sharyn Nichols, on the Inspired Choices Network. And I'm so excited because it's March and we're marching into spring. I love the springtime. It means so many different things to me. It means so many different things to so many people. And I'm just so excited for all of the newness that it brings. So I've decided to do 4 weeks of spring, although it's not technically spring yet. In the Northern Hemisphere, the spring equinox is March 21st. And that to me is the first day of spring. Although let's start talking about what we can do to be prepared and get all ready for spring when it has finally sprung. So as usual, we're going to start today with a meditation. A meditation into spring to clean the mind. Because we're going to talk about clearing the clutter. But we'll get back. We'll get to that shortly. So I need to receive a breath. I need to settle. The excitement, it just gets to me. It can become overwhelming and palpable, and I love it. So let's all receive a breath. And sitting comfortably up straight, allowing your eyes to close, whatever your body is telling you. Now let's go ahead and bring your attention to your breath. Feel the slow movement of your body as you breathe in and out. Letting your rhythm elongate a little bit with each breath as you inhale deeper and exhale longer. In through the nose, out through the mouth, allowing your body to relax even further as the soothing motion of your breath slows everything down. Notice where you are holding tension and let that go as you breathe out. Now let's take a moment to honor and give gratitude to the past season for allowing your body to hibernate this winter so that you can allow what wants to germinate, what wants to be planted this spring. Ask your mind what thoughts and beliefs may no longer fit. What are you ready to let go of? Acknowledge that the purpose of this belief or thought that it may have given you in the past. Recognize that it no longer fits and release it. As you let it go, imagine you're clearing it away with a broom or a rake or a breath of fresh air. Imagine you are peeling away the dead leaves and stems to reveal something beautiful underneath. See the beauty in the new growth that now has room to grow unencumbered. Imagine what is now possible with this belief. Let's repeat this one more time and ask yourself again, what is no longer serving you? As you're letting it go through your breath, imagine that you're clearing it away with a broom, a rake, or a breath of fresh air. Receiving a breath. And if there's one more little thought that just needs to be let go, allow yourself to do this now. When you feel that you have released all that you need for right now, receive a deep breath in and exhaling any last ties to these past thoughts and beliefs. Letting go of what is no longer serving you in this moment. Check in with your body. Sit up tall. Notice if you feel lighter or taller. Can you breathe easier? Slowly allowing your eyes to open with the vow to continue to release these thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve you, so that you are free to grow a little shoot, evolve, and truly shine. Thank you. And if you're just tuning in, we just completed our first meditation on spring for the show, first show of Marching into the Spring series on the Feel to Heal show with myself, Sharyn Nichols. So welcome again. I am so excited that spring is in the air. The newness, the coming out of hibernation. And so, with newness and new beginnings, I want to talk a bit about the new things that I'm going to be adding to the Feel to Heal show. And something that I have been doing for the past 15 years, I realized. I've been working with animal spirit medicine, specifically the medicine cards. The medicine cards. You can see this book has been with me all over the world. And each year I pull a new card on my birthday to see what animal medicine wants to be with me for the year. I usually pick a new card on the first of the year just to see what that year wants to bring. You know, I have the year of my birth. I have the cycle of the year from January 1 to December 31st. And then I pick one for the season. So we're going to pick one on March 21st, on the first day of spring. In fact, we're going to pick it together on air. Although today, this morning when I woke up, I said, need to pick an animal spirit that wants to be with us for today's show and anchoring in the beginnings of spring. And so, Weasel. Stealth. And so what I want to talk about Weasel is, with Weasel, the sun shines a light on all things. Weasel is a keen observer, and Weasel wears different coats for different seasons. And I was like, this is so perfect because we're using Weasel for this season. I was like, yay! I love how the define always happens. And so I realized I should probably show this page. I cannot say enough how these cards have absolutely changed my life. For 3 years, I picked a card every single day and used it as a way as a source of comfort, for learning, for guidance, for the anchoring in, for the moments when I had no clue as to what I was doing. And it was so comforting. These cards have been so comforting. Like I said, I've brought them with me everywhere. I've used them in ceremony. And Weasel has not shown itself to me a lot. Although silent Weasel has many lessons to teach you, Weasel could confound the Great Spirit. It would pick Great Spirit's pockets and then leave Great Spirit contemplating its own navel. Weasel medicine it's all caught in here and it just needs to come out. So thank you for bearing with me. And we're going to go to break. And when we come back, I'm going to have it all sorted out. So thank you so much for listening to the first segment of the Feel to Heal show with myself, Sharyn Nichols, on the Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
At different times on our life journey, we can feel stuck and struggle with seeing our way through. What if the answer to the struggle is just to go deeper than the surface? By tuning in to Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols, you'll receive insight and guidance on exploring your feelings in order to heal yourself. Are you ready to create a more satisfying, peaceful, and successful life? Listen for the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also ask questions or comments by email by sending to Sharyn Nichols at feeltoheal.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Feel to Heal show with myself, Sharyn Nichols. And spring has definitely sprung because I feel as though I'm a newbie at this because I'm all over the place. So I'm just going to bring it all back together. In the last segment, we did a meditation, and now we are talking about animal spirit medicine and the weasel. And weasel medicine awakens your innate ability for silent and secret observation, which is the perfect jumping off point for coming out of winter and hibernation and stepping into spring. So it will and can show you the best ways to circumvent trouble. It can teach you how to pursue your goals on any level with the greatest success. Again, this is my newness. This is my excitement. This is just me bubbling over with the joy of spring. It is my season. I am a very early spring. You know, I got my colors done at one point in my life years ago and was told that I was an early spring. So for me, what that actually means is that there's a very small window in the whole year where I just birth forth all that I need to birth forth. And so that will be happening and coming forward. And, you know, with regards to why I chose this topic, because I started this podcast in the middle of the summer. And it was such an incredible opportunity of growth for me. For those of you who have been listening from the beginning, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, you've been along this incredible journey with me of this growth that I have experienced. And I am so grateful for myself and then for you for coming along and bearing witness. So thank you so much for bearing witness to the beginning of my growth and then the hibernation and the going within, and then being with me for the incredible love series where we just looked at all thoughts and feelings that have to do with loss and love and the whole spectrum of feeling incredible to feeling such crap, and then finally getting to the place of acceptance, accepting yourself where you are, And that's what I'm referring to, is that I have accepted myself for who I am, the way that I am, and where I am in my life and in my trajectory and on this incredible path that has been set forth for me and that I keep saying yes to, and enjoying the bumps on the road along the way. Even though they suck, I still am honoring them as incredible lessons or incredible experiences, because even if an experience sucks, it still is an experience. Just going to receive a breath. Because yes, I'm constantly meditating with myself. Spring. Just saying it is so refreshing. It brings to mind for me the sweet smell of jasmine and picturing the little white buds on the flowers of the trees that will be the little white buds that will turn into flowers and then turn into incredible pieces of fruit that will be nourishing to my soul and, of course, to my body. And as we know, the weather can have such incredible effects on our moods. That's why, for me, the winter time, it being so dark, it's important to allow those moments of darkness, the depression. And I had never Googled this before. So I Googled, what does out of the darkness and into the light mean? Because I've been saying that, come out of the dark and into the light, come out of the winter and into the spring, into the light. And I did not realize that, yes, there's darkness and light, although it also means that there's a suggestion of ignorance and evil. So then therefore that would be knowledge and purity. And I was like, that just completely blew up things in my head, because I never saw the darkness as evil or even being ignorant. I always just saw it as a time of going within, although so many other people saw it that way and see it that way. And now it makes complete and total sense as to why one would, because without the shadow, without the light, there can be no shadow. And so shadow to me was also, shadow was somewhat, ignorance. Although I never saw it as evil. And maybe that's just me being a bright little spring. Oh, and here comes the darkness. He wants to come and say hello. Yes, you may lay down. Lay down. That would be my cat, Obsidian. Sid, he wanted to say hello. He wanted to be a part of the show. He needed to bring his darkness, which is also about psychicness and being able to see in the dark. Because as we know, cats have incredible, I shouldn't say as I know, and I'm sharing, as most of us know, that cats can see in the dark. And that's one of the things that I truly do love about being a cat. Anyway, I feel as though I've gone off topic for a moment, just because Sid wanted to say hello. So back to spring, and spring being the season of new beginnings, allowing us, saying I'm apologizing to my cat who now wants to play because I was petting him. Spring. Spring is happening even with everything else that is going on around us. The seasons are going to change. Whether we want them to or not, they are. And so really sometimes all we need is a little awareness that we are entering into a transition of. And so with that awareness, we now have a choice. It can be smooth or it can be bumpy. I'm choosing smooth. Based on all the things that are going on in the world and so many things being so uncertain, there is always certainty that spring will sprung. Spring will happen. Or the fall will happen if you're in the southern hemisphere of the world. In the northern hemisphere, spring is going to happen, whether we want it to or not. And so we can choose to focus on the lightness and the happiness and work on and be about knowledge, not because we are ignorant, although knowledge is in the seeking of the newness. And purity, if that's the opposite of evil, it's about being open to allowing the thoughts that you do have and not making them all that who you are. They're just thoughts. You don't have to act on them. We are human beings. We judge. I mean, I don't know the 7 deadly sins off the top of my head, although I do know that jealousy and envy are 2 of them. And so we're going to have them. We're going to have these feelings. So it's not about not acknowledging that they're just thoughts and you don't have to act on them. Because yes, we've all had evil thoughts, first about ourselves and then those that we are in front of, and those that are ruling the world, and those that are making decisions for us that we feel as though we have no control over. All of that, it's all encompassing, and it's all part of this idea of spring, and that we can let go of those thoughts that are cluttering our minds, that no longer serve us, that we no longer need. And it is as simple as having them, acknowledging them, and then letting them go. Just sort of watch them go by. You're human. You cannot not have any of these thoughts. You've been hurt. You've experienced loss. You know, with the anger and the sadness can come the evil thoughts. They're just thoughts. So let's clear the clutter of all of those thoughts that are no longer serving you, much like the meditation. Because it's just a thought. Let it go. You don't have to act on it. Act on the thoughts that will move you forward, that will spring you forward. Duh, spring. I'm being a little silly because I want to lighten. I want to bring the light because I am the light. I, me, Sharyn, the light. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the Feel to Heal show with myself, Sharyn Nichols, on Inspired Choices Network. And we're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about spring. Spring, 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 spring. Yay! See you back in a moment.
At different times on our life journey, we can feel stuck and struggle with seeing our way through. What if the answer to the struggle is just to go deeper than the surface? By tuning in to Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show, with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols, you'll receive insight and guidance on exploring your feelings in order to heal yourself. Are you ready to create a more satisfying, peaceful, and successful life? Listen for the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols Show with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also ask questions or comments by email by sending to Sharyn Nichols at feeltoheal.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, and thank you so much to listening to the Feel to Heal show with myself, Sharyn Nichols. And just before break, we were talking about clearing the clutter of your thoughts and springing forward and what you can do for yourself. So if spring is a hot spot for you on your calendar, because if it's a time for you where you actually experience a lot of anxiety and turmoil because of all the things now that you want to do, get to do, have to do because you're supposed to be springing forward, let's take a step back and let's actually make a personal plan for yourself. Let's not dive in and let's not start running the marathon with a sprint. You sprint at the end of the marathon. At the very beginning, you set a slow and steady pace so you have enough energy reserve to get you to the end. So it's now time to think about what it is that you actually want to plant. So what have you been germinating and allowing to sort of just, what seed are we now going to drop into the soil? Since the soil is now all fresh and ready because the earth has softened, because it's gotten warmer. And so what is it that you truly want to plant for yourself so it can begin to grow during the spring? What are you birthing? So it can shoot up through the soil. So it will then, once we get into June, really truly grow. And now, of course, each season blends into the other, which is so beautiful and incredible. I know we have specific demarcation dates based on the sun, which is wonderful. It's a good place to start or jump off from. So now that it is almost spring based on the sun, what do you want to plant and grow? So going back to our thoughts, I had said out loud, and then of course I read it elsewhere, about how do we Marie Kondo our thoughts. And I just thought that was great. What a great way to think about it. So what is no longer serving you? Clear the clutter. Let go of the thoughts that are no longer serving you. So that's part of what we can do, as I mentioned before, to come up with a plan, to figure out what it is that what you may want to create, since we've been germinating, since we went in and now we're coming out. So let's create an inventory, a list of all the things that you need to do or that you should be doing or the things that you want to do, like I mentioned before. And so now let's consider why you're doing each of these things. Because we have a tendency to do things that aren't necessarily ours to do. You know, we get distracted by those little things that we think we should be doing when we start shitting on ourselves. But we completely forget to ask ourselves, do I even want to be doing these things? So the first thing with regards to this germ that you're going to be planting, or this seed, is, do you even want to do it? It needs to be a yes. Otherwise, it's probably not going to grow very well. It's not going to get the love. It's not going to get the love and oh my goodness. My cat just erased everything off my document. Hold on. Sorry. He put his head on the delete button. I undid it. Thank you. Thank you for bearing with me. So I lost my train of thought, but I'll come back around. So then the other thing that you need to ask yourself, is this vital? Does this really even matter to me? Or does it matter to someone that I love? And if your answer is no to both of them, it's now a distraction. It's not something that you need to focus on. It's not going to serve your little seedling that needs the love, that needs the light, that needs the sustenance, the water to grow. Thank you. I brought myself back around. My cat sidetracked me. So here's the other thing that you get to do with your seed. You get to ask for help. You get to allow others to help water, to help bring in the light. So then therefore, if you think something is so big, you can separate it out. You do not have to take it all on. It can just be a little sliver, or you can do it all. There's going to be moments where there's going to be the ebb and the flow, where it's just going to be you. And then there will be times where you're going to have support, or you're just going to ask someone to do one thing, or you're going to ask somebody to do it all. And guess what else you get to do? Every single day, you get to recommit. You get to look back and see what you have gotten, how much you have grown, even if it's just a little millimeter. It's the baby steps. And you get to keep recommitting to the growth, recommitting to the process, recommitting to letting go of what does not serve you. It is so important since you're birthing something new to eat right, to sleep proper, to get enough sleep, to exercise, to meditate, and to manage your stress. I mean, these are all things that you need to grow you. These are all things that you need, or that we need, that I need, in order to be the best version of myself. And ultimately, isn't that what we are birthing? The best versions of ourselves? I mean, isn't that ultimately what we all really truly want? Isn't that why we all start listening to podcasts, listening to me, searching, reading, Googling, Wikipediaing, anything. We have this quest for knowledge, or we want the magic pill. And we know what happened to Neo when he chose the red or the blue. You don't know. And it doesn't actually at the end of the day even matter, because either way, it's your reality. What you choose is your reality. So let's clear away the clutter of our thoughts and allow the thoughts that will bring us anew, that will allow us to be the best versions of ourselves. Cleaning, cleansing. Cleaning is actually something we have control over, which is why there are so many people who have obsessive compulsive disorder with regards to cleaning, because they have control over it. It's the one thing they have control over. And of course, we all want control. We do. We all want control over ourselves, over our lives. We want to control what other people do. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, yeah, I wish I could control my cat, because he just came in and I just went with the flow, because it is what it is. And I could have used it to completely derail me. And instead, I just started laughing, because that's all I can do. And yes, I had some pretty dark thoughts, some evil thoughts, and I brushed them away. So thank you. Thank you, Sid, for giving me that opportunity and being that example for me. Cleaning, clearing. So what are you in control over? What can you do for yourself? What can you do that will keep propelling you forward in terms of the eating right, sleeping, exercising, meditating, managing your stress, and allowing you to still have those thoughts that want to clutter your mind, although it's about having them and then letting them go, and not allowing them or letting them to take over. They're just thoughts. They are just thoughts. And so when we come back from break, because we're going to take a break in a minute, we're going to talk more about spring and sprung and marching into spring and what we can do and what it all means and the excitement of it all. And I'm just going to be so grateful that each day is going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. So we'll be right back. Thank you for listening to the Feel to Heal show with myself, Sharyn Nichols.
At different times on our life journey, we can feel stuck and struggle with seeing our way through. What if the answer to the struggle is just to go deeper than the surface? By tuning in to Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show, with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols, you'll receive insight and guidance on exploring your feelings in order to heal yourself. Are you ready to create a more satisfying, peaceful, and successful life? Listen for the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show with licensed marriage and family therapist and life guide Sharyn Nichols. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also ask questions or comments by email by sending to Sharyn Nichols at feeltoheal.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back. Thank you. I apologize. I was drinking water. Thank you so much for listening to the Feel to Heal show with myself, Sharyn Nichols, on the Inspired Choices Network. We're talking about spring, nature, newness, birthing, life itself. There's so many, I'm having so many thoughts. There's so many things going on in my head. Nourishment. We must nourish ourselves. That's more shoulding. Musting is shoulding. I want to give gratitude and acknowledge nature and all that it brings. And then what it teaches us on how we should be within ourselves. Because we are actual creatures. We are nature. We are part of the earth as bodies living on it. And we are so ruled by the moon, by the stars, by the sun, by it all. And so what are you now going to choose to nourish your body with? And remember, it's baby steps. So yes, I know I mentioned talking about exercise, eating right. I mean, all things you know. So what little baby step are you going to take between now and March 21st, when spring has officially then sprung? Now, let's also keep in mind that this weekend coming up on the 13th, the clocks go forward here in the United States. And we will then be getting an extra hour of daylight towards the end of the day. And it's going to throw everybody off. It will, because we've been so indoctrinated by the sun and the phases of light. And so what can you do for yourself when you start to feel a bit wonky? And I'll probably talk more about that. I will talk more about that next week on next Monday's show. I will definitely weave in and talk about how the light affects us. And because next week's show is going to be about transitioning and the butterfly and the cycles of the butterfly as it relates to our own cycles. So just touching on that a little bit right now, mostly though going on about what can you do for yourself now, knowing that you're going to be entering into a transition, that things are changing. So even if it's just you committing to yourself, drink one extra glass of water every day. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's it. Or you can choose to, when you exercise, if you exercise for 30 minutes, go for 35. If you meditate for 5 minutes, meditate for 8. Just add a little bit more, so you have more of a basin, of a foundation to allow you to move and transition into the next phase, cycle, season of your life. I'm really excited. I love the newness. I love the change. Everyone says, oh, I hate change. You probably wouldn't hate change if you didn't fight it. if you allowed it, and if you recognized that it is always happening, no matter what, there's no way of stopping it. There's no way of avoiding it. You know, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Yeah. Duh. Yes, you probably you would not dislike change if you stopped, because that's the ultimate. That's the end. So I do what I can every day to support myself in the changes that are going to happen. Yes, I wake up anxious most mornings about all the things that I have said yes to, and then all the things that I don't know are going to be placed on my path. So yeah, I know I said this before. It could be this way, or it could be this way, or it could be this way. Little bumps, staccato, or completely flatline dead. I don't want this. I don't want the flat line. And I've lived the staccato. Not fun. So let's do what we can for ourselves. So only you know what you need to do. What little thing that you can do for yourself to bump up, to make the transition easier. Always. I do a meditation at the beginning of each show for me, so I can transition into each topic, each show. It grounds me. And I think it's so important to assist everyone, which is why I meditate each morning, because it allows me to clear the clutter of my thoughts, tune into what's actually what I know I need to do, and then allow the opening for the things that are going to come to me and show up for me, even if I don't like how it looks. So yeah, some change sucks. Some change is really, really hard. Some change is also quite welcoming and so new, and a breath of fresh air. That's what spring is. Spring is a breath of fresh air. So let's get ready to plant. Let's get ready to dig a hole in the earth and place our own little seedling, whatever that is for you, into the earth, into your garden. Let's watch. Let's watch as we water it, as we make sure it gets the sunlight, as we make sure it gets all the nutrients that it needs in terms of feeding the soil. And then let's watch it sprout up as a little shoot. I can't thank you enough for listening to today's show. We're marching into spring. Spring has sprung. I look forward to seeing you all next week as we talk about the butterfly and its significance to our cycles. Thank you so much. Take care. See you next week. You might as well be you. Everyone else is taken. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show. Sharyn Nichols will return next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, give up the struggle, feel all you need to feel, and make this week your best one yet. Thank you for choosing to listen to the Feel to Heal with Sharyn Nichols show. Sharyn Nichols will return next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, give up the struggle, feel all you need to feel, and make this week your best one yet.